Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 171 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news, as well as we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry. I'm back again with the buzz cut, along with my other co-hosts, who also have buzz cuts.
My name is Craig, Buzzcut 2.
My name is also Craig. I need a haircut, actually. It's getting a little long.
Same.
Yeah, but, we do all have the same haircut, don't we? That's weird.
Yeah, I think as I'm getting older here, I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to mess with my hair in the morning. Maybe we just call ourselves like Buzz Cut Gaming or something like that.
It's just so much more manageable.
It's about function. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that we could play video games longer.
I mean, you can grow it out in the winter, keep you warm.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't have that option. Mine goes straight up instead of out to the
go.
side, so I can't go long.
Mine just gets wild, but what's also wild is the news this week.
Mm-hmm.
In line.
Before we get too far into it, I want to make a correction. As told to me by one of our loyal listeners, I was wrong in saying that it was Seth Rogen with the girlfriend problems. It was Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill's the one with the issues.
Oh, yeah.
We're not one for putting out fake news, but, okay, Jonah Hill is the issue with women.
That's right.
And how he sees people. But, again, that whole thing is kind of weird to begin with. So, sorry, Seth Rogen.
I'm sure he listens.
If you listen. Yeah.
He'll respond.
Yeah. I'm hoping he'll forgive us. Maybe come on the podcast.
There you go.
But what I can't forgive is what my news is this week. That Pokemon Direct sucked. There was nothing in that Pokemon Direct worth really talking about. We did get, there is a Mew and Mewtwo event that is coming soon in September. The two DLCs are coming soon. I did love all of the memes coming out about what are they called? So it's the Paradox Pokemon and the Raikou one, the Thundercat. It's now it looks like one of the tall necks in Horizon. It looks like that. It just looks so funny to me. But I wish Pokemon would do more. I wish we announced new games, but we did not, unfortunately, to my avail. But Pokemon will continue to take advantage of me until I die. So great on Pokemon. I'm glad they know how to take advantage. But
I would say, the best part for me was them adding the Pokemon trading card Game Boy game.
Oh, and that's right, Pokemon Stadium 2.
I've been playing that. I didn't realize how much I missed that game. I used to play it all the time.
Yeah, I gotta start playing that. I gotta start playing that the trading card game. They need to do it. They need to do a new one.
They do because it looks bad. It could use a new style, like a Pokemon Snap. Just update it.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
We saw what happened to that, and it looked great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good example there.
Yeah, that new Pokemon Snap is so good. Game was great. We then have rumors of the Slim PS5. We're getting apparently screenshots of it. Why anybody needs a Slim PS5? If you want, it probably has to do something with the fact that there is a $50 sale discount on PS5s right now, including the ones that are bundled with games with it. We keep hearing rumors about a PS5 Pro coming out next year, so it's okay, here's the slim version of it now. It's I don't get the whole need for all of these different models, but
money.
Money, yeah. And it's following the calendar algorithm of the standard game life, at least the Sony standard game life, Yeah. So we're following, we're right on schedule.
Yeah.
And then lastly for my news is that Baldur's Gate 3's release is making developers worry about games coming out in the future. I think the main reason that they're having these issues, one, is Baldur's Gate 3, which we are going to talk about later on the podcast because I did play a lot of that, kind of came out in a really good state. Not a lot of bugs, plays pretty well, but I think people also forget that this game has been out in early access for maybe years even. So while developers they're starting to worry about this is setting weird wrong expectations for a game, I actually think it's fine. For the most part in for our podcast, we usually don't like, I guess, hate on a developer too much for delaying a game, because we just want the game to be the best it can be. I do know general public would be angry about that, but and it's different. Baldur's Gate is a PC game that's been in early access for months. So you have time to perfect the game, and then that way, when you have a firm release date, it's kind of like, you know what, this has been in testing for a year now. We have what we need. Let's release it, kind of deal. So, Baldur's Gate 3 developers, I think other developers just need to like take their time with games. I guess I get it. Crunch for games is what the new style is. Getting a game out as fast as you can, because kids' attention spans are shorter than they ever have been. But for us older gamers, I don't think we mind too much. But all the money is, of course, with the kids.
Yes, of course.
I thought it was funny that it almost comes across like the other developers are like, how dare you release a game in a complete state?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, essentially.
Like, now they're going to expect that from us. I'm like, yeah, that's what we've always expected our entire lives. Like, I'll give you some leeway if a game's like, oh, it's 95% done. But like this trend of releasing games that sometimes feel like they're half done. Oh, we'll update it. We'll update it later. I think has spoiled developers a little bit. And I love seeing games that come out like this. And I think of like Final Fantasy 16, like it just comes out and it doesn't need updates. It's good to go.
It's good to go.
Out
of the box.
So not a bad thing at all.
It's definitely not a bad thing. And part of me feels like the only delay we can't get behind, at least I can't get behind, is Skull and Bones, because that's never going to be good.
Yeah,
so
true.
that was just a jab at Skull and Bones, but
that game never gets like, we already jab it enough. Like, you're killing something that's dead.
But it's fun,
That's the one. That's the one I'm gonna be telling my grandkids about. Like, oh, I played that game. It never came out, and I tried it. That'll be the one I always hold on to, having played that.
But like, there will be an apocalypse of games, and Skull and Bones will be the ones that survives, or something like that. It's gonna be like, this is what you all have to play now for the next year.
Yeah,
and it's all you can play.
Yeah.
But that's it for my news.
Okay.
Get into
I have a couple here. Some of them are kind of short, but that's fine. We have a potential leaked release date for Stalker 2, December 1st.
Cool.
I know it's been sitting in December for a while, but I think all of us were kind of starting to doubt that, right?
Yeah, and I've been excited for that game for a little bit, so I'm just hoping that it finally comes out.
Yeah, and again, like, I don't mind if that game gets delayed. It's not like at the top of my list to play, so if it's not ready, that's fine. But it's a Game Pass game, and I feel like Microsoft might be like, hey, we need something in December. So you're up. Make sure it's ready. Also on that note, we have Lollipop Chainsaw, the remaster, is delayed. Summer 2024 now. Originally, I think it was supposed to come out this fall or winter. Not anymore. And again, that's fine. I have the original. I can play it again if I want to. Take your time on that one, because that's a cult classic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, seriously.
Another one here. We have more rumors, because we all love rumors.
Love
GTA
rumors.
6. Couple things here. March 2025 is what is being hinted at by Take-Two. And the other one that I put in here, because I just thought it was hilarious, is it appears they're going to be doing growing hair like Red Dead, which kind of makes sense, but also kind of funny. It reminds me of San Andreas, where you're like, if you don't ride your bike everywhere, you're going to get fat. And this time it's like, hey, if you don't go get your hair and beard cut, it's going to get out of control.
I feel like we're targeted. We're targeted.
Right. It's funny is like, but besides Red Dead, I look at that as like, why aren't more games doing that? I feel like that should be something standard now, right?
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on like the tech behind it, and if what your
is it worth it?
Yeah, because I imagine it's something hard to do, because it always has to be like, okay, your hair grows a little bit, probably every day-night cycle, and then how long does your hair decide to get, and how many days have passed in game. It has to be a complicated thing. It seems easy, but it probably isn't.
Yeah, it may be just like other developers like, yeah, it's not worth the hassle trying to figure that out. for something that most people probably won't care about, but I think it's cool. It's a cool idea. I mean, that's what GTA is. They're always coming up with new ideas. Like the multiple protagonists was a cool idea. Yeah, so I'm starting to get excited for a new GTA. Maybe I'll play 5 again. Maybe.
I've tried so many times.
I beat it once and I haven't really touched it since.
It takes so long to get back. Like the problem this is why my issue with retrying GTA 5 is I kept getting to the same spot and a certain amount of hours in. And it was probably like 2 to 3, maybe 4 times. So now every subsequent time that I try, I can't stay invested.
Sure.
Because I've seen those first 20 hours or so. So I like can't get there that far anymore, you know? But
right.
I would be excited for a GTA 6.
Man, I've been ready for 5 years. I'm gonna hop over to some movie news real quick. We got a announcement on a sequel for Talk to Me already. What I thought was cool is they put up a little short video. They're literally going to call it Talk to Me, which I think is great. Something interesting though is that the people who wrote the original movie are YouTubers. They've said they've already have an idea for a prequel and that they already filmed most of the movie while they were filming the first one.
Smart.
So it seems like this could be something we see like next year. Summer again, maybe. I'll take as many of these as you want to give me. I absolutely love that movie. And I think it's smart putting something out already, being like, yep, there's another one coming. Keep that hype train going for it.
Yeah, of course.
And then the last one I got to bring up, this one is super personal to me, but I'm super excited about it. I got to talk about some Arcade 1-Up news, as you can see them behind me here. There was a photo leak of the one game that I've wanted Arcade 1-Up to make ever since they started making games, and that is Time Crisis.
Okay.
I absolutely love Time Crisis. It was my favorite arcade game growing up. It's the one I spent the most money on at the local arcade when it was here. From the leak, this is a pretty official looking photos. It's about 6 feet tall, 2 guns, even though Time Crisis is a 1-player game. It has Time Crisis. I don't know if you guys ever played Point Blank, but it has Point Blank, which is an absolutely incredible, like, you versus another person shooting targets type of game.
Okay.
And then there's like 2 other games in there as well. Big important thing here is there's the foot pedal on the floor for Time
Very
Crisis.
Important. And
it seems like the guns have that nice little recoil that the game used to have where it like clicks every time you shoot, where it's like clack, clack. That's all important. Supposedly this is supposed to be coming out this winter, like this holiday.
No way.
Price date is a little up in the air because the picture was from like a German website. Roughly translated, it looks like it's probably going to be either $600 or $700.
I was going to ask, what's your max for buying that?
I don't have a max.
Okay.
You're just going to buy it?
Nope, I don't have a max. This is like the first time I saw Arcade 1-Up, that was the one game that I was like, they should make Time Crisis because I want a Time Crisis. And as soon as I saw that picture, I was like, I'm buying it. I think honestly, like 700 might be pushing it. That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot of money. I feel like probably 500 or 600 is like a sweet spot because that's what they normally are when they come out. On a side note, I don't know, like you guys probably don't look at Arcade 1-Up at all, but it's coming out in September. They announced a Wheel of Fortune slots machine.
Oh, okay.
Which is sweet.
Really?
And as soon as I saw that, I showed like my wife because they sent an email and she immediately pre-ordered it. So like, that's like, I want them to do different things, try different things. Like we've done a million different versions of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. You don't need any more of those. I like I have the Simpsons, they have X-Men, Ninja Turtles. That's all good. But like, I like that they're starting to go off into, let's do some shooters. There's like, they just did Fast and Furious, like a racing game, like all that's diversify. There's so many arcade games out there. I think doing slots is super smart. I mean, I think they're headed in the right direction. But man, that Time Crisis one, whoo boy.
Do they do a House of the Dead?
They have not yet, but that's another one they need to look at.
That's another one they should.
They've done, obviously the Big Buck Hunter was like the first gun game. They did Terminator 2.
I remember that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
I feel
gosh.
like those are the only two gun type games they've done so far. Because obviously it's more money, right? You got to pay for the arcade setup, but also the guns, the pedals, and that's usually like you pay more for the racing games too because it's more equipment. But I'm willing to pay more if they're going to do games like this for sure. So as soon as that pops up for pre-order, I'm grabbing that, and then we can just have a big party over here.
Yeah, I'm very glad that you shared this news because I wouldn't necessarily know it. Like I'm like a big part of me growing up was my dad taking me to the arcade.
Same.
And my dad was the dad that also played all the games with you, at least the 2-player
Yep.
ones or more players. So I have those recollections of the X-Men game, Simpsons game. Time Crisis was a game that I always maybe wouldn't bring up since arcades were a thing in my life, but I've always loved it because the pedal. It was just that going behind cover, leaving cover, going behind cover, that type of thing. It really made you feel a different type of engagement with the game itself. It just made it just a little different. And that's awesome. That's awesome that they're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the company is listening. Everybody was like, "Hey, we want Marvel versus Capcom 2," and they made one, and like immediately sold out. So like, I appreciate them listening. And these things, in all honesty, this is probably a slippery slope, but these things are not hard to modify. So the idea of having like a Time Crisis cabinet that I could mess with and maybe put House of the Dead on, or whatever else other games you could think of shooter wise, like would be incredible.
That would be.
But yeah, that's all the news I have there.
Okay, I don't have a lot. Just like a couple of like either leaks and such like that, or just announcements. But small teaser video or teaser trailer of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin came out this week. Had to throw that out there just to get our listeners and just ourselves pumped. I know I'm pumped for something like that. I know we talked about it. I think maybe in the last 2, maybe 3 months, where it's just an interesting storyline. Like I told you guys the other week, I like dark storylines of like stuff that I grew up with. So the fact that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to me never showed one hint of blood or anything, or really death or dealing with really anything. To have them come back and have a surviving turtle essentially after the other Ninja Turtles are slaughtered to get revenge. So you're going to give us as gamers a dark Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. So the teaser trailer, it really doesn't do anything for you. It kind of got me pumped just because it's press for it.
Right.
But like it's like 4 candles that like slowly get blown out and they show like Ronin landscape backgrounds. It's nothing crazy, but it got me hyped, so I had to mention it. The other thing that I wanted to mention, this is more towards you, Craig, is I guess because you're the Alan Wake guy, is Alan Wake 2 is having a live new reveal on Tuesday, August the 22nd. So hopefully we can get like a little bit more. I mean, like it's not like somebody like Craig needs more, but like somebody like myself, I would love to see a little bit more about the gameplay and such. I feel like I've been watching the same you get to play as 2 people footage, since they released anything about it, but that's on Tuesday.
Yeah, I feel like I don't need more for that game. I don't want to see everything. It's kind of like when I see like a trailer for a movie I'm really excited about, and I'm like, all right, no more trailers. Like I don't want to be spoiled, but I'm still like cautiously optimistic about that game. Like I've said before, it just seems like a Resident Evil style game, which is fine as long as there's not like survival ish things hidden in there where I gotta like get resources. I'm good.
Yeah, I hear you. Super excited for the game. I still have to pre-order it. That might be one I buy day one, but like I told y'all, I still have to finish the first one, which I should get on. I'm wasting these weeks where I don't have anything to play by playing something I've played.
It's a perfect time.
The most time it's insane.
Because you're playing Persona.
Yeah, Persona's playing me. That's what it's doing. It's
So
taken
many other
over.
games.
I know there's so many other games taking over my life. The last thing I wanted to kind of more bring attention to is excitement from the Souls community, or I would say a medium amount of excitement for the Souls community for the upcoming Lords of the Fallen. Specifically, not just because it is, I guess, garnered or brandished as a Souls like, but there's a mechanic in the game that I think is going to make it a little bit better for people who maybe get more frustrated at games like that, which is like essentially you're navigating an open world. And then because it will happen, when you do die, you essentially have to navigate an underworld and fight in order to get back to the living world before you, and then if you die again, that's when you lose all your XP. So I don't know. I think that's a different take on what is considered a Souls-like game, because normally it's like you die, you lose it, you go back, you have to fight your way back, you die again, you lose all the experience that you had. But I don't know. I thought that was a fresher take on it. Kind of gives you like a second attempt at trying to do it, but you have to fight like to get back to the living world. So but that's what I had there. I thought I had one more. Oh yeah. Nintendo is trying to patent certain mechanics from Tears of the Kingdom. One of the
Of course they
things,
are.
As one does.
as one does. One of the things, for example, is like patenting Riju's lightning ability, which for anybody who didn't get that far in the game, you essentially, she creates a force field to which then you would shoot an arrow, and then the lightning obviously hits where that arrow lands. They're trying to patent that. I just paused for effect there.
Is that possible?
But they're also trying to patent what essentially is the physic mechanic of when Link is riding on like player created vehicles, like specifically like the aerial vehicles. So like when you're doing any of those the gliders and things like that, they're trying to patent that, which
Okay.
which doing that in a game is not a new mechanic. They didn't invent riding on a vehicle at the same speed moving together
Yeah, I don't think
in that
that was
physic
them.
realm. So I mean, I'm gonna like read. I don't know why it interested me or piqued my interest. I'm gonna keep reading it as it develops, but that's just something that I found like interesting, because it's just Nintendo patenting weird things
Yeah.
is essentially what they're doing. But I don't know. That's all the news I had.
Somehow I'm not surprised that they would do that.
Yeah, it always seems like at the cutting edge of gaming, everyone's just like patenting their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're trying to do. One thing I did forget to mention for news is that we did get a teaser trailer for the gameplay reveal of Modern Warfare 3 coming out.
Mm-hmm.
The trailer comes out August 17th. Bad Guys Makarov. I am excited. I guess a part of me is also like, there's no way they're doing No Russian. Like, as much as like that was such a interesting mission, in today's world, it would cause issues. So I wonder how they make Makarov a scary guy. I guess because like No Russian is such a big part of.
Maybe they just mention
the modern,
it.
Yeah,
maybe
such a big part of the Modern Warfare community that you'd think, they have to do some homage to it of some sort, but any type of homage would probably end up getting them canceled.
Is Call of Duty like Fast and Furious now, where they just bring back characters and they're like, how'd they come back? Doesn't matter. They're back.
You thought they died. They didn't die.
They didn't die. They're just back.
But I saw them die. But they didn't die.
No, definitely didn't die. I'm excited too, though. I've been doing that. Like, did you like text the phone number?
No, I did not.
There's like a phone number you can text. They've been sending like stuff for the past couple days.
Oh, okay.
Like, I like that kind of advertisement. I think it's fun. Like, it's like top secret info, and they're just sending over like screenshots of maps and stuff. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. I miss that stuff.
Some good marketing right there.
Mm-hmm. Still hoping for Game Pass.
Yeah, we'll have to see. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be huge.
We now get into games this week, in which I've put a lot of time into Baldur's Gate 3. So that's pretty much the big game I've played this week. What about you guys?
We got the stealth drop of Quake 2. I played that.
That's right.
And then I played some Bluefire. That's a very descriptive name for a game.
Yeah.
I have desperately tried to put down Persona, and I did for a couple of hours to do Pikmin 4, the demo.
Okay. Good old Pikmin. That's fair.
So how do you feel about Pikmin?
It's a Pikmin game.
It's a Pikmin game. I don't care about the story. I know it's Pikmin 4, but I had a Craig moment during the beginning cutscenes where I was just like, I don't care. Spamming I don't care.
They talk too much in the beginning for sure.
They talk too much in the beginning. How the game plays, I can see myself, if I don't have a lot to like play that I'm interested in or such, I could see myself picking it up and playing it handheld, being like a truly handheld game for me.
But you're playing Persona.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Yes, I am. But like, I don't know. I like how it moves. I like the mechanics. I do like how it looks as well. I feel like at this point, guys, anytime a Switch game looks good, I'm going to point it out because it's good when a Switch game looks good now based off of the hardware.
Agreed.
And it does look fantastic. And I do enjoy the ambiance of the world itself as well. Am I going to buy it? I don't know. I see why it is purchased and beloved is what I'll say. But I was surprised the controls aren't clanky either. I thought I was like, as when I started moving around, I thought that I wasn't necessarily going to like it. But was that Craig or Barry? It might have been Craig that said it. It's like I didn't think I was gonna like it, but then I just was playing it. Was that you, Craig, or something to that degree?
Maybe.
Because that's what I see myself doing. It's like I'm not gonna love it, but
right.
I'm gonna find myself just like playing it. So I don't know. Maybe I'll pick it up in like 2025 or.
I would say wait for a sale, but it'll never go on sale. It's a first-party Nintendo game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
I think not to like give props to any particular retailers, but I think there's buy one get one free at GameStop right now. There you go.
Yeah, there is
Pikmin and something else.
There you go. I feel a lot better.
So
we feel a lot better as consumers when the free game is the game that we don't necessarily think we're gonna like. We're like, I didn't even buy it.
Yeah, it was free.
It was free.
True.
So, do you want to get into Bluefire? Or should I get into Baldur's Gate?
We could do, yeah. Quake 2 is Quake 2 if you've never played it. It's not a full remaster, but it feels real good. The soundtrack is still there, which is awesome. I love Quake. I always have. It's just such a good, fast-paced, old-school shooter. The fact that it just kind of came out of nowhere, and then they're like, oh, yeah, and it's on Game Pass, so if you want to download it and try it out, go for it. I played first couple levels, had a little nostalgia fest, remembering playing it as a kid. That was great. I think it's something that most people should try. It is kind of like, it's where all the modern FPSs have come from, right? Yeah. Doom and Quake and all that are responsible. So I think it's something for sure, especially since it's on Game Pass. Like, just check it out and relive where gaming has come from. Bluefire was part of the last Games with Gold that they did.
Okay.
And this is an interesting one. It's like a mix between a Souls and a platformer. Very interesting. Like, when you're in the main world, you're running around and it is kind of like a dodge, attack, block, and then you go into sections and it's like platforming challenges where it's like you have to collect all these things on the map, but they're like, different jumps and dashes and all that. I don't know that I've seen kind of like a game bridge those two that well together before. I don't think it's a very long game, but I'm enjoying it. I think it's a good filler game for me right now. In between this, like, we're in a bit of a wasteland right now.
The Souls like platforming.
Yeah.
The platforming Souls-like game.
That's right. Because I mean, none of us played Atlas Fallen and None of us have
Yeah.
played Remnant 2 yet, right?
I will be playing Remnant, but I just don't have it yet.
Yeah, okay.
I was so close to playing that.
I thought about buying Remnant 2, but then I remembered I played Remnant 1 for like an hour and I didn't like it. So I kind of was like, I should probably hold off.
And I'm pretty sure Remnant 1 came to Game Pass pretty early and quickly, if I remember. So that may be something, it's smart to hold off on until
it
true. But I've heard nothing but good about it so far.
As have I.
Yeah.
I've only heard good.
Now, the big thing here, though, Barry, is that I've never played a Baldur's Gate, but like watching all these reviews and stuff, I'm interested. So you have to give me your take, and you know me if I would like that type of game or not, because I know it's heavy RPG.
Yeah. So it is super heavy, like heavy RPG and D&D like.
Okay.
Made by the creators of Divinity: Original Sin 1 and 2. Sure. So just keep that in mind. Baldur's Gate 3. 1 is just like it is so much fun for like the D&D person in me. Like really hard to get a bunch of your friends together to play D&D. Really hard to get somebody to be a DM. It is not hard because the DM is the game and all your friends can just create the character of their dreams, and the character creator is pretty deep.
Including genitals.
Including genitals. That is one of the running jokes.
Yep.
But it's like changing your eyes, changing your hair, your face. Like, I admit there isn't a lot of tattoo options, which I do wish there was. Just to, like, put your character, with an arm tattoo sleeve or something like that. Instead, like, there's only a very few options. But overall, it is such a good game. I've been really enjoying my time with Baldur's Gate 3, and I've never played a Baldur's Gate or Divinity: Original Sin. So what I have been enjoying is like the learning parts of it. I right now have a session with my brother, and then I play with him and ours is more like a go in and fight and like no thinking, just go ahead and fight. We usually die pretty easily there, but the game is pretty nice about saves. You need to save though. Like the autosave feature does not save often enough. Just so you're aware. So whoever's owning the campaign needs to save, because how it works is the owner of the campaign owns your character. So so every campaign you go into, you have to create a character for it. I think you can have a max of 4. In my brother's, I have like a character for my brother's game and a character for a game that I play with, for a campaign that I play with my roommate for. So it's fun to have. Like I so want to get enough people to like play with a 4-player team. Like that just has to be tons of fun. But I think the game like really just lets you do whatever you want. It really is an expression of freedom there. Like it gives you a little marker on your map of where to go, and you can head there, or you can just walk around and find the extra party members that are available to you, because you can have a party of 4 and you can play this game alone. It's just a matter of you will be playing with other computer players that you also control. So it's a lot of work for one person. You might be able to set them to CPU, but I have not done that yet. I haven't been playing by myself. But in both of the campaigns, we haven't necessarily gotten far in, I'll say, but it is worth $60, and I think a lot of people have not played a game like this because it's very RPG but super D&D like. So, locking just because your character's good at lock picking does not mean you'll get it. There's a higher success of doing it, but not, just like real life. Just because a sports player is really good at playing sports doesn't mean they're going to win every game. Whether they're alone, whether they work with another person, it's kind of like that, and it looks amazing. Sound like there's not too much in like the sound department, like ambient music and stuff like that. I don't mind, but I definitely feel like where it's lacking is tutorial based. Like there really isn't a tutorial. There are hints you can read while you're doing stuff, but there's a part in the game, if you ever come across it, where there are traps everywhere, and you can put stuff to like kind of like in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where you put something on the trap so it doesn't go off when you take something away. So the issue we were having is I did not know you could just simply move stuff. Like You can click and drag an object and move it a certain place, and then move it again until you have it where you want it. Where in the playthrough with my brother, I had no clue you could do that. So we set off the traps and I died. Is what happened. So the game doesn't hold your hand a lot, and that's why like I really enjoyed playing with my roommate because he was able to tell me more of the stuff going on in the campaign where I didn't know what was going on, especially for someone like me who never played the early access. But if you have a computer that can run it, like it is a game that is a ton of fun. Like I think all three of us would have fun playing a campaign together.
Yeah.
It would just be a matter of do we play Baldur's Gate 3 or are we playing Demonologist? I guess is the question there. And I think your wife would probably love to play too, Craig. I think everybody, like, there is something for everybody here. It is a role playing game. You get to play whatever character you want, create anything you really want to, and it's a fun time for the whole group.
So is each instance that you're playing, is it the same campaign?
Yes,
or does it change?
It is.
Okay.
It is the same campaign, but what you do can change things. And there's been a lot of discussion in the community about long rests, where you're supposed to meet a character somewhere, but if you take too many long rests on the way there, the character either dies or moves. So there's
what's a long rest? Is it just sleeping?
So yes. So in the game, there's in D&D there's something called a long rest, where that's where all your characters get to heal. Their spell slots get refilled. It's kind of like a big rest point.
It's like using a tent in Final Fantasy.
Exactly. It's like using a tent in Final Fantasy. But it causes the day to go to the next day. Like it is a full night shift sort of thing. And with that, it hasn't been confirmed by them whether or not that actually is what's going on here. But and what I mean by them is the developer has not confirmed that long rest makes this happen. It's just a rumor that's been going on. So as I continue to play the game, I start to feel more comfortable and get better at it. I know, like, now I could take you guys through the beginning of the campaign. It's too bad there isn't like a demo I can make you guys play to kind of show you. But I don't think anybody that's mildly interested in this game, I think you should buy it. And if you've got friends that are playing it, it's an absolute buy, and friends that are willing to play with you as well. Like it's a D&D campaign without needing to get together. Like you could all play on your own computers, and you don't need someone to DM it for you. So
I really need it to drop on like Game Pass or something.
Yeah, well, right now the only console it's coming out on is PS5. So keep that in mind. It would be tough, I think, for Xbox to get this game as a Game Pass game. So,
I feel like I would want to play this comp, to be honest. Same
for sure.
Same way I feel about
Diablo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It interests me, but I also know, like, I've tried playing Divinity and I didn't like it. So when everyone's like, yeah, it's like Divinity, and I'm like, I don't know, like dropping $60 on a game like Divinity when I did not like Divinity at all, like it makes me hesitate, even if like everybody's playing it, to spend $60 on something that I might play an hour of and be like, I'm done. You know what I mean?
We should watch some gameplay.
Steam does have a really good return policy.
They do. Yep.
So
I think it's 4 hours or something like that.
Yeah, 4 hours, and it just kind of depends. They seem to be very cool about, okay, you played this for 5 hours, didn't like it, here's your refund. That's more than enough time to know if you're gonna play it or like.
Yeah, I did hear something that Craig will like. That like no tutorial section at all. So it doesn't seem like a lot of talking to start. Just kind of seems like, just figure it out.
Like, I love RPGs. Absolutely love them.
Yeah.
Like turn-based RPGs specifically, in action, but like turn-based is my root. So like, but I was never a D&D person, ever. Like I never had any friends around me growing up that were big into it. So it was just something that kind of like never interacted with me in my life. So when everybody's like, yeah, it's like playing D&D, I'm like, okay.
I'm the weirdo that was sitting in class with his friends who liked Dungeons and Dragons. And I was like, hey, can I see all of your literature for Dungeons and Dragons? And I remember they were these big books.
There's so many books.
That had like it had the bestiary. It had like all of that stuff. and I would read them in class. This has to be middle school. I think it was 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, that area. And I was so fascinated with the world. Never took the leap and said, like, can I join? I never did that. But I was so fascinated by the Dungeons and Dragons aspect, like the world that was created. So like anybody that's either a dungeon master or in one, I always have a huge respect for, because everybody that I've known who's been a dungeon master has put so much time and effort into creating the campaigns for their friends. I used to work with a group. I used to work with one person who was dungeon master of his group, and there was like drama within the group, but like everybody still wanted to meet. Like it almost sounded like two people broke up during the campaign, but they all still they still kept the campaign going. Yep. They still showed up, and like it's definitely a lot of love and tenderness that is put into that. So it's no surprise that if you're kind of coupling that with the RPG realm in a video game and done well with no bugs starting, with no bugs, on the day, or at least on the drop day, not early access, that it's no wonder to me that it's doing well. Like I'm probably this close to getting it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably just a nudge, to be honest with you, because I didn't know it was going to do that well, or at least have such strong backing. Sure. I don't know how I missed that, but I'll probably get it at some point.
Yeah, again, I didn't realize how impressed I would be, just because this is my first Larian, I think is the developer's name, type game, but it is fun, and I enjoy playing with my friends. I enjoy making the characters. Like the characters are fun to make. It's almost like just a character creator in a way, because you have to create your character, and then you have to create your, I think it's like your guardian. My roommate said that is your love interest. So, okay. And I don't know if that's still the case, but we'll see as I get farther into the campaign. But I'm sold on it. I definitely think it's worth it, and whether you're by yourself or like you, who needs a nudge, like you guys nudged me to get Demonologist. Yet again, Demonologist is a very much cheaper game. Than,
True.
Than what Baldur's Gate 3 is, but I don't think there could be 300 hours of content in Demonologist.
That was my next question.
Yeah, there is a lot of content here, a lot of side missions. It definitely feels like in the beginning, like you're supposed to do all of them, but it is very easy in this game to walk into situations that you are not ready for. But that's the whole point of like traveling together, talking it out before, hey, are we ready for this kind of thing? And it just really, it gives you the freedom to, sneak in. It gives you the freedom to run right in. It gives you the freedom to set up traps for him. It really is a good way of like expressing yourself in an RPG situation in a D&D fashion without needing to meet face to face, without needing to force somebody to be a DM. It's impressive. It's impressive how much I've enjoyed this game so far.
Okay.
Both of my characters are girls. They're smoke shows.
Of course.
I love the pause and then the admission.
We've had that discussion before where I know Craig and I have said, if given the option, normally we create female characters. I did not for Demonologist, but I know you did, Craig.
It would be fun if all of us are creating girls and like your wife decides to play with us. She creates a guy and it's just all of us trying to vie for her attention.
That would be really funny. That would
be really funny.
Hey, I always tell people.
Now your wife would know what it's like to just have have girls pining for as a man.
Oh my god, I love it, man. Hey, I always tell people, like, I'm a guy in real life. If I'm playing a video game, I want to switch it up. So that's why I do.
Agreed.
But it's fun. Yeah, that's going to be games this week for all three of us. Next up is going to be movies, where I have watched Oppenheimer. I do have opinions on it. I have also watched up to as much as I can with The Lioness, and I'm now 3 episodes into Twisted Metal.
Okay.
I watch Across the Spider-Verse again. Sorry, guys.
So did I. Yeah. So did I. All right. I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem.
Yes.
I got that out of the way. I watched the live action adaptation of Zom 100 on Netflix.
I've been interested. I've been
Yeah.
thinking about watching that.
And then I watched also on Netflix was Heart of Stone with Gal Gadot. I watched that
That's
as
right.
well.
That's out. I didn't realize.
Okay. I am a little light this week.
Sure.
So you guys will definitely be carrying it. And Barry, this is kind of good where you're at. I'm about 4 episodes into Twisted Metal, so we could talk about what we think thus far. We could kind of tag team that. But that's all I got. I'm gonna let y'all take the floor. Just tell me when Twisted Metal starts.
We could talk about Twisted Metal.
Yeah, go
first,
for it.
Just,
Okay.
I just want to say Twisted Metal it's fun. It is surprisingly enjoyable. I had no expectations going into this, and I've been enjoying it so far. Like, my only real his name is Anthony Mackie, right? That is the
John Doe. Yeah.
Yeah,
John Doe,
I really don't have any experience with him outside of Falcon and maybe some movies that I definitely forgot he's in. But he plays a comedy character really well. Like I again am just completely floored at like the budget that they put toward Twisted Metal, and there's definitely all these fun callbacks that even for me who never played Twisted Metal, as a gamer I can appreciate. You know, the whole code thing he enters into his car.
Yep. That's the invincibility. Yep.
That
I love
falls onto the windshield. It's the very small things that I enjoy, and it again, my expectations, I guess, for this, I shouldn't say I had none. They were low, and it's blown it out of the water. It is an enjoyable, fun ride for the last 3 episodes I've been watching. So, and I imagine you probably feel the same way.
I'm going to mirror what Craig said last week, which is they did not do the right type of marketing in terms of what they were showing us, because it is completely different. I'm having a lot of fun with it. The only comedic experience I have with Mackie is
Papa Doc.
Papa.
He'll always be Papa Doc from 8 Mile for me.
Yeah, Papa Doc. Oh my gosh, Papa Doc. I was also thinking of oh my god, what's the Mark Wahlberg
Pain and Gain?
Pain and Gain, was he in that? Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was it was him, Mark Wahlberg, and The Rock. I gotta get a quick pump out like before.
That movie's underrated.
That movie is severely underrated. So like that's all the comedic I have with him. Obviously, you know, Falcon is where I primarily just remember him in recent years. Thank you for Papa Doc, because I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's really good. But yeah, for me, it's a lot of the small things as well. I mean, even with John Doe, like that's Roadkill. Like that's the name of Roadkill in the video game. Agent Stone is like is one of the outlaw characters in, I think, Twisted Metal Black, I think is when he first appeared.
Yep.
So it's small things like that, plus the invincibility code and such like that. Craig, to let you know where I'm at, it's like oh my gosh, it's the lady with the plants. That's where I am.
Yeah. Yep. She's also from the game as well.
Oh my god, who is she?
I don't know if you've seen, like, did you watch the episode where they go to her house?
Yeah.
Okay. And she, like,
the pharmacist.
Yeah, and she's like hitting him with the plant or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, her car is like in the background of when they're at her house. It's like the Volkswagen Beetle with the flowers all over it.
Oh my god, I remember that character. Forgetting the name of the character, but I remember it's like flower power or flowers,
something like that. Yeah.
It's stuff like that. You know, there's Twisted Metal does not have a long library, so to speak, for like especially the classic better games. You know, minus Twisted Metal 4, that was where I don't know what they were doing there. Create your character. But it's just all the small things that you find in there that just kind of bring you back to that. It's fun. Sweet Tooth works for me. Where I'm at in the story, he's not in it at this point. I mean, he was, and now he isn't. So I hope he comes back, because they definitely advertised a lot of Sweet Tooth, and I mean, Sweet Tooth is
a decent amount of them. Yeah,
good. He's the Justin Timberlake of Twisted Metal. Like, you're like, I know who. That's a weird correlation to make, but
but it works.
He gets his own side story, because you have like Anthony Mackie's story going on, and you also have Sweet Tooth's story going on, which is nice.
Cool. I like that. I hope. Did anybody see or mention that they're already renewed for a second season? Craig, did you say that last week?
I don't think I did, but I did see that, which is
Okay,
good.
Good. And I'm waiting. I can't wait for the last 4 minutes of the last episode because of what you mentioned last week. So I'm having a lot of fun.
I wanted to clarify too, like it is that last 4 minutes, but like that last episode, the beginning is phenomenal as well, where it all kind of culminates. And like I won't spoil anything for you, but just the fact that for you and me, Craig, haven't played the game a lot. When Sweet Tooth, there's a point where he like shoots off missiles, and it does that distinctive laugh from his special, the same one. And I was just like, oh my god! Like the fact that they went to the length to get that exact same sound and use it is like the attention to detail that makes a show that shouldn't be good.
Yeah,
because it really shouldn't. It should be terrible.
Yeah. It looks like it looks like a bunch of people on the production team or who wrote it or whatever. It looks like they literally played the games. Like that's how much they're adding in. So excited to watch the rest of it. Definitely.
All right, so I guess we'll talk about the Lioness, Paramount Plus with Zoe Saldana, some other notable characters that I cannot remember their names for because I'm bad with that in general. It feels like Zoe Saldana is just in everything right now. You know, Avatar, Guardians, the Lioness. She just never stops. Good on her. But it is a fun show about this kind of woman led army or marine team that goes undercover. They send an undercover agent in to become close friends with the family, and then the family leads him to the killer. So it's been fun kind of learning like how all that works. It's definitely a how do I put it? It's kind of a really violent show sometimes, and it's kind of hard to watch occasionally for me. Like, don't get me wrong, like video game gore doesn't bother me, but it's like the mutilation of like characters that are real that can that can kind of make me go, I don't know if I want to like look at this. I'll listen, but until the torture stops, I'm cool with it. But the Lioness, if you haven't already, Paramount Plus, like it needs more shows to I think really start gaining speed here, and the Lioness is one of them. It is a fun show. Comes out weekly, so I like that as well.
Yeah, there's an extended torture scene with the main character that's super uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it was a bit much.
But okay, I'll jump into it. Oppenheimer, the 3 hour classic by Christopher Nolan.
Yes.
I'm really torn about this movie. It is a 3 hour ride that I remained interested in, but not in love with. The movie does look fantastic. The score is fantastic. Like, there are a lot of things in this movie that I really do enjoy, but I didn't come out of the theater like I did with Across the Spider-Verse or Teenage Mutant or like the Teenage Mutant Mayhem sort of deal here. I get why people love this movie. It's just that there are a couple, like, the movie drags on enough to keep you interested. I just feel as though, and this might have been the theater I was watching it in, like, of course there's this huge climax about the test bomb that they do. And I'll admit, it looks fantastic. And sounds really good. I just thought, like, it's funny when it's kind of like they do this whole thing in slow motion and you're waiting for the explosion to be a jump scare. Because I think that's what he's going for. They're so far away that, like, you can see the explosion go off, but the delay in the sound is what kind of gets you. And overall, I get why all of the actors are getting like these, a lot of nominations for Emmys or Oscars when that time comes. But at the end of the day for the movie with me, I was like, okay, like it's okay. I think it's okay or good. I don't think it's great or like the most fun I've had all movie season with anything. And it is long. It is a 3 hour long ride. Like if you're not in a luxury recliner, like in some of these other movie theaters, like I imagine it's uncomfortable. And I'll admit, like at the end of it, like I was like slunking in my seat. Like I don't know if I can leave at the end of this. Like, I'm like this. I'm just like, I don't know if I can physically move anymore. I might have to watch another 3 hours of this if I can't get out. Kind of deal. So it is a movie, and I get the technical aspects of how great it is, but I did not fall in love with this movie like I have other movies this year. Maybe low top 10. Maybe.
Okay.
There is probably other movies coming out that won't even put it, like, will knock it out without any issue once I actually start thinking about it. At the highest, I see this as 10 because of the respect I have for what this movie does, and I understand who loves it. It's just, I don't know.
It's an Oscar movie, right?
Yeah.
It's an Oscar grab. What do they call those? Is that what it's called? Oscar grabs?
I forget what they call them, but yeah, like technically impressive, but not the greatest storyline. Is that accurate?
Yeah, and I get people that fall in love with it because they love like the whole story, and not everybody knows.
It's a great story.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
And I don't know anything about this stuff, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
In school, I was not taught like everything that went into, like, I was taught Oppenheimer made the atomic bomb. Story done. All of the, I did not realize like the Los Alamos thing where they had to create a whole town for all of the scientists with their families. I didn't know anything about all of the like security risks that like this thing proved or like happened afterward, and maybe that's because I'm too young to understand everything that happened, and maybe older people have more of a respect for it. But for me, it was just it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, in school, we went over Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but like we didn't go over we didn't have an Oppenheimer based course. Right. Like, you know what I mean? You know, but like I know about Fat Man and Little Boy, and like the significant effects that it's had on not only the war at that time, and relations, but essentially everything since. But yeah, like I wanted to see the movie to kind of get more of his story. I'll watch it in spurts, maybe at home. I don't know. Is it a movie theater movie? Like, can you just get the same effect from a?
I'm gonna watch it at home because I feel like it's a 3-hour movie. I don't want to sit there because I'm not like, oh my god, I have to see this movie.
Yeah, I'll sit through 3 hours of John Wick, but not
exactly.
That's exactly. Yep. It's funny you mentioned that actually, but I think it does feel like a movie theater movie because not everybody's home could recreate what the explosion was, and it's hard to like sell people like, oh, you got to see it for the explosion, man.
That 10 seconds out of that 3-hour movie.
But then after the climax of the explosion, the movie still goes on for an hour. So it's like this to keep me interested for 3 hours to something I have no idea about. I think is credit to the movie, but again, I wasn't in love with it. I think it's okay or good, but it's not great. It's not fantastic. It's not, the next coming of Everything Everywhere All at Once. I loved that movie last year, but this is not that.
That's fair.
I'll
wait.
Yeah, you probably should.
Yeah, I'll just watch it when it's streaming and watch it in like 3 sittings.
I need someone to go see Barbie with me, though. Anybody want to go see Barbie with me?
I
don't want to.
Sure.
I don't want to go by myself. Okay, Craig. We're setting up a movie date.
All you have to do is mention Barbie in this household, and my wife will be there immediately to watch it again.
Okay, I don't know what it is. I just don't feel right going in there by myself.
He doesn't want to walk up to the booth and say, "I'll take one for Barbie."
One for Barbie, please.
That's probably it. I just don't feel like.
I mean, if you go in there by yourself, and there was a lot of women in the audience, there's a certain scene with like a big speech that I feel like everybody would slowly turn and stare at you as like the single man in there, and they'd be like,
or it's the thing where I get in there too early, and they're all just like, "Oh, he's by himself watching Barbie."
What?
It's kind of like going to it'd be like going to like the Taylor Swift concert by yourself.
Like maybe somebody's meeting him here. We'll just we'll see when the movie starts.
or they might be like, man, this guy gets it. He's an ally for us.
That could be it as well.
That could be it.
There we go.
It is. You do need to see it though. It's fantastic. I would watch it again. I'd watch it again in a heartbeat.
Perfect. Well, then you got to tell us about
Okay. Yeah, Ninja Turtles. Saw this one this week. Animation style again brought me in because I like that like weird, almost bad animation art.
It's ugly.
It's real ugly, but like not always. Like I feel like the vehicles were like looked phenomenally well drawn. It's just the people. They all have like lumps on their faces and stuff. It's very weird, except for April. But overall, like I really enjoyed it. It's very funny. I like seeing all the villains that I knew as a kid, and I mean like all of them are here. It's not just Bebop and Rocksteady, but like all the other ones that I remember, Baxter and Wingnut and all those guys. I'm just like, man, I totally forgot about these guys. It was nice seeing them all. I think they did good casting on the Ninja Turtles. I think they all work very well as like younger teenagers. The comedy, like I went with my daughter went and she had a friend with her and like they were laughing. So I'm sure like the humor is on point with kids today. Like I found it funny, but I was like kind of watching them too to be like, do they think this is just like a poor attempt? But it didn't seem like it. They really seem to enjoy it. Yeah, I think it's a phenomenally well done movie. I will watch a couple more. Seems like they want to do more, right?
Yeah, it seems
they
like
kind of leave it open. Yeah, I'm down for sure. I've enjoyed most Ninja Turtle movies in my life. The ones with Megan Fox, I don't need to watch again. But the previous animated one from like, I don't know, when was that? Like 2012?
Yeah.
TMNT. I liked that movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Ninja Turtles are great. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It gets right to the point, and the story is interesting. I thought it was a good take. Something a little bit different than what I expected to see out of that movie. Kind of swerved on me a little bit. And the end fight was cool. It was very cool.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, it's very good. I don't know if it's going to end up in my top 10. We have to kind of wait and see because there's just so many other movies this year.
Yeah, like I'm seeing low top 10 for me with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles now that I've kind of cooled down on it.
Yeah.
But again, we have to see all the rest of the movies that come out this year.
So. Exactly. Like I would like to think it would be in there, but I mean, when I look back at like we had John Wick this year, we have Barbie, we have all these other movies that I've watched, and I'm just like, oh my god, talk to me. I don't know if it sticks in the top 10.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe it does stick in there for me. Heart of Stone, real quick on Netflix with Gal Gadot. Like, that's a solid pass. It's okay. Gotcha. I don't think it's anything like worth writing home about. I couldn't even really tell you what happened. It's a spy agency. Gal Gadot's a spy, and there's a bunch of other spies, and there's action scenes, and the action scenes look cool, but the story itself is just kind of like meh. You know,
spies and spies.
But yeah, the Zom 100 live action. So here's my thing with it. I enjoyed it. I think it's done well. I watched it with English dubbed. Yeah. Right? Like you can watch it Japanese with subtitles. I didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like the dub was bad. It was good. My only issue with the movie is why would you put it out now when I'm going to get the whole story when the anime is not done yet?
Yeah,
it kind of throws me.
It is a little strange. I agree.
Why would you not wait until the anime is completely out and then be like, okay, here's the live action? And it's a minor gripe, but like I watched that and I'm like, okay, well now I know what's going to happen in the anime probably, unless they like majorly change something. But it's just a weird choice. And I know like there's a is it a graphic arts novel or is it like a series? I don't know. I know it exists in paper form somewhere.
But it's a manga.
Is it a manga?
Yeah, okay. It's a manga.
Okay. So, I mean, the story's already been out there. But for me, as somebody who's just watching the anime weekly, and then this comes out like literally halfway through the anime being out, and I'm like, oh, well, now I know the whole story. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I enjoyed it. I think it's done well. It's not something that's going to be in anybody's top 10. But if you enjoy the anime like we all do, I think they do a good job of capturing it and putting it in a live action format, which doesn't always work well. I'm looking at Dragon Ball and whatever else, or One Piece,
Death Note,
right? Death Note.
Oh, Death Note. Oh,
yeah. So very quickly about Death Note.
Yes.
I watched the Death Note movie first.
Oof.
And then I went into work, and I was talking to the nerdiest people at work at the time, and I was like, "Did you guys see that Death Note movie on Netflix?" And they were like, "Are you kidding me?" They were like, "We want to punch you in the face right now. Go home and watch like Death Note." And then I watched it. It's still one of my favorites of all time, and I'm hoping for your sake, not in like a terrible versus good movie, but that they deviate so much like they did in Death Note, that you really didn't spoil all of Zom 100 by watching this live action film. Because if you watch the Death Note movie, they don't do nearly what the amount of what goes on in the actual series. So, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think like short answer is, if you're interested, watch the anime version and just wait for that to be fully out, and then go and watch the live action. It just curiosity got the best of me. And I was like, I gotta at least check it out.
Yeah, like why not? I get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then one thing I did want to mention is this just has something to do with movies in general. I can go into seeing like Teenage Mutant like Turtles like without having an issue with what the trailers are going to be beforehand. The Oppenheimer, there are 2 trailers for 2 movies in there. One of them is The Exorcist, the new one coming out, and holy crap,
looks good.
I was not having fun in the theater whatsoever. As someone who is not into scary stuff like that, I was at the end of that, I'm sitting in my chair like, is it over? Is it over? Is it over? Is it over? Please be over. Please be over. I was like closing my eyes. I'm looking down at my phone. The trailer goes on way too long, but I think I like kids movies. I think that's just who I am now.
You're missing out.
I think I'm gonna go see that new Paw Patrol movie that was obviously shown off in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer. I think that's my lane.
You feel safe in there?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stay in my lane now.
I think that's funny, Barry.
I feel like you're denying yourself great movies by not watching horror movies.
You're definitely right. I won't deny that, but it was just like I was surprised at how much the Exorcist trailer showed off. Like, you'd think you'd be saving these scares for like not right now. No, it is disturbing imagery. It is jump scares in the trailer. I'm like, why are you doing this to me? I'm here to see a bomb go off. I'm not here to I'm not here to be frightened by 2 demon girls. Thank you.
Fair enough. You are not the target demographic on that.
I am not the
You're not the target demographic.
Also, if you think about it, a lot of older people went to see Oppenheimer. That's an interesting choice to put a trailer for a horror movie before it.
Again, it was hard for me, but what's not hard for me is the ending of the podcast, because we do it every week. So I want to thank everybody for listening. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to review it on your podcast listening platform of choice. And please make sure that you follow us or subscribe or like and subscribe on YouTube, TikTok, or Twitter. Either one of those 3 is fine.
It's X.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. Dang it.
You did it again.
Like last week. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put a note in the script that says call Twitter X.
Call Twitter
X.
You're not the only one not calling it X, so you're fine.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot that again. Gosh darn it. But thank you, everybody who's been supporting us. We do appreciate it, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.